Good morning. This is the Great Basin Fire Potential Briefing for Friday, July 29th. On the impact map for today, lots of thunderstorm activity. A little deceptive. The southern half or two-thirds of this in Utah and Nevada will be primarily wet or a mix of wet with some dry. Once we get into Idaho, there's a chance for a higher percentage of drier strikes mixed in with some wet as you head further eastwards towards the Wyoming Idaho border. That's why we have that one red dot here. So we are worried about some new ignitions. Also, in these areas of orange, we may have winds not critical or red flag criteria, but probably gusts in the mid 20s. And some of that will be overlapping some existing large fires as well as some of the lightning. So we have a concern about that today and tomorrow. Tomorrow and Sunday, we start drying out across the North Country. So that lightning could pose the threat of new starts, otherwise continued wet thunderstorms in the south. And by Sunday, that monsoonal activity thins out in the east, but starts getting pushed westwards and then northwards up the Sierra chain into western Nevada. Most of that wet over the high country. The northern fringes may be on the drier side. We'll have to watch that scenario. Lots of lightning in the south yesterday, primarily wet, as you can tell by the precipitation, but up here in Idaho and far northern Nevada, a mix of drier with the wet. There was definitely some wetter rains up here, a quarter, half inch in a few spots, but some areas that did miss it. So I'll have to watch as the day goes on for the possibility of new starts. Currently, new starts in the red, have a few of them up north, a lot of them on the small side across Utah and southern Nevada. Recent fires in the yellow. 7-day precipitation totals, you can see that over the past 7 days, the deep moisture and the rainfall has been in the south and pushing into southern Nevada. But you can see by the percent of normal where it's been basically 0% of normal is dark red. Northern, northwest Nevada, all of Idaho and western Wyoming. So the most critical fuels have been pushed further west and further north. Satellite imagery shows that deep monsoonal moisture again in the south and some spokes up here in Utah, a few spokes in southern Idaho. A lot of this will start filling in with the daytime heating, especially up here. There'll be plenty of sun early on. A little disturbance, see that little kink in the height lines will trigger some isolated to perhaps scattered thunderstorms in central and eastern Idaho into western Wyoming later today. So we look at the map and we see that green blip popping up here over central Idaho and more green blips here near western Wyoming. That's where we expect to see isolated scattered lightning. We have high risk for lightning here. The feeling is the further east you go, the wetter it might be, and they had some wetness yesterday. Otherwise, thunderstorms stay wet in the south. You also see the orange shades. That'll be some breezy winds here in western Idaho today. Otherwise, record heat across western Nevada. We see some of those breezes here in Idaho, maybe 15 to 25 miles per hour, maybe 25 to 30 here in the vicinity of the Moose Fire. Otherwise, outflow boundaries from nearby thunderstorms, humidity driest, single digits to near 10% in western and northern Nevada, and in the low to mid teens up in Idaho, but definitely getting up above 20 to 30% further south. You can see the precipitation wetness here. This is a dry lightning signature, these popcorn kernels. The thing is, they've been going on over eastern Nevada for much of the past 2 weeks, so probably not starting too much. It is this activity up here in the north that we're a bit more concerned about. And they dry out on Saturday. There's a concern there as well. The deep monsoonal moisture gets shunted further south. We still stay hot and dry. We have the heat issue here in our far western areas with record temperatures and low humidities. See that humidity even in even single digits up into a good portion of Idaho as well as into northern Nevada. When you're outside of that monsoonal air mass, of course, higher humidity further south and east, winds start to diminish a little bit. Again, here's your thunderstorm activity on the left, mostly on the wetter side. And then on Sunday, you notice on the left a big blossoming of monsoonal moisture getting pushed northwards, getting enhanced and entrained by this low pressure off the southern Oregon coast. Big tropical system down south. But this is where the big push of monsoonal moisture is. So you can see the green and yellow expands further onwards. We have hot and dry continuing. We'll have to watch for isolated lightning and see how far it gets. We may have to replace some of these H's with lightning concerns, as it'll be lightning after a couple of days of very hot and dry weather. You see the humidity starting to come up here on Sunday. You see the outflow boundaries from the thunderstorms through here. Still a little bit uncertainty as to how far north they'll get on Sunday. Here's the precipitation totals, and you can see that precipitation on Sunday really pushes into the southern half of Nevada, right up to the Highway 50 or even I-80 corridor. Maybe a mix of dry and wet lightning on the fringes through here. As we go into Monday, deep monsoonal moisture overspreads the region as dynamics from this cold front in the north enhances moisture. So you see a lot more yellow on the map up here. Lots of cloud cover, higher humidity for all areas, along with some precipitation. So no large fire activity or spread expected on Monday. But then on Tuesday, as drier air gets in train here, you see this tannish shade, you start seeing more dryness starting to come in, and definitely drier on Wednesday as that monsoonal moisture gets shunted out. Areas that just had a brief shot of monsoonal moisture quickly dry out, and that we see that drying trend continuing through the end of next week. 7-day precipitation totals getting quite hefty in the south. And the 8 to 14 day, really the big significant factor here on the right, that large area of above normal precipitation means the models think that for much of the second week of August, the monsoon is going to be in full force across the southern half of the Great Basin, maybe the southern 2/3 even, or maybe even all of it. We'll see how far north that moisture gets. This concludes our briefing. Have a great day.